इंडिया में स्टार्टअप आइडिया सबके पास होता है, बट व्हाट इज लैकिंग? फंड्स. फंड फॉर अ स्टार्टअप इज लाइक ऑक्सीजन फॉर अ बॉडी. बिना फंड्स के द स्टार्टअप आइडिया इज जस्ट टॉक. सो वी हैव विद अस मिस्टर अमृत तिवारी, जो कि हेड ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट मैनेजमेंट है एट IIM लखनऊ इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर. आज हम इनसे जानेंगे कि स्टार्टअप है उसके लिए फंड्स क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है एंड उस फंड को वो सोर्स कैसे कर सकते हैं. वेलकम टू टाइस न्यूज़ सर.
थैंक यू
सर. जो पहला क्वेश्चन है मेरा आपसे वो ये है कि एक स्टार्टअप जो है आपके पास जब फंड मांगने आते हैं तो आप कैसे डिसाइड करते हो कि उनको कितना फंड मिलना चाहिए एंड कितना फंड उनके लिए नेसेसरी है एंड वो फंड आप उसको लेने के लिए हेल्प कैसे करते हैं?
See, the funding factor for a startup depends on the stage of a startup. Now, there are different stage of a startup. If they are at a pre-seed stage, or perhaps I would say if they are at a seed stage of a startup, then definitely the funding amount would be very less. But if they are looking for a pre-series A or a series A fund, where the working capital requirement is huge, the capital expansion is required, or the team expansion is required, or the talent acquisition is required, then in that case, the funding requirement would also be huge. So as far as IIM Lucknow is concerned, from our own corpus, we usually invest into the startup up to 50 lakh rupees from our own corpus. That is primarily that you got to know the sense that would be for a pre-seed or a seed stage fund. We have a different verticals as well over here, such as the corporate arm, where we used to invest through our corporate arm, through the help of the corporates, up to 5 CR, that we term as a pre-series A or series A sort of a fund. So depending on the stage of a startup, we usually decide the funding requirement of any startup.
ओके सर. तो एक कंफ्यूजन जो काफी लोगों के दिमाग में होती है कि जब आप एक इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर के पास जाते हो तो क्या फंड जो होते हैं वो इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर डायरेक्टली देती है या फिर डज इट हेल्प द स्टार्टअप टू कनेक्ट टू पीपल जो कि उनको फंड्स देते हैं?
Right, interesting question, but see, we do both. We also provide the funds through our own corpus. We parallelly have different programs, be it from Government of India, be it from the corporates, be it from the private sector. So we are running different programs as far as the IIM Lucknow is concerned. As far as the connecting with the VCs or angels, we are also exploring the opportunities for the incubated startup to raise the funds from the VCs or the angel networks. So recently, yesterday, I just signed a term sheet or the SHA with for one of our startup where they used to get a fund of around 4 CR. So that was again being a strategic partnership of that startup. So it play a different role for any startup. It play a very crucial role for any startup. So both we play. We usually invest through our own corpus, and definitely from VC or angel network that we have the partnership with.
सर जैसे आपने मेंशन किया कि आप दोनों साइड्स पे हेल्प करते हैं, आप फंडिंग खुद भी देते हैं एंड ये जो इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर है वो दूसरे स्टार्टअप्स को VC से या एंजल इन्वेस्टर से हेल्प भी करता है कनेक्ट करने के लिए. तो सर ये जो फंड है सर IIMC इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर है, व्हाट इज द मैक्सिमम फंड दैट यू हैव हेल्प्ड अ स्टार्टअप रेज or what is the maximum fund that you have given a startup?
So through our incubation center, as I mentioned that we are prominently working with the PSUs and the corporate sector. So the maximum fund that we have helped the startup to raise, it is more than 20 CR for a particular startup, I'm saying. However, on an average, it is 5 CR that we have invested in these startups, and they have raised the funds from corporates such as HPCL and ONGC, where the average ticket size may range from 1 CR to 5 CR. So if any startup is coming to us and they are falling under the scope of the area of ONGC or HPCL, they have an opportunity to raise fund up to 5 CR in that vertical.
Okay, sir, I'm sure the startups would be glad to hear that आपने 20 करोड़ तक का फंडिंग दिया है स्टार्टअप्स को. सर जो मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन है आपके लिए वो ये है कि ये जो स्टार्टअप्स है आपके पास फंड्स के लिए आते हैं, लेकिन इनको अपने माइंड में क्या कुछ पॉइंट्स हैं या कुछ क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए कि उनको यहाँ से अगर फंड सिक्योर करने हैं तो व्हाट आर द थिंग्स और पॉइंट्स दे शुड फोकस ऑन?
करेक्ट. So this is a very good question, because many of the startups are not aware about what exactly the fund requirement is, how they should pitch to the investors. The first and the foremost thing the startup needs to understand, it's not the idea, it's the founder. Okay. So the founder needs to be has a very strong background. they have a passion towards their startup. There are two critical things. One, you need to hire a talent acquisition. So there should be a talent acquisition. The second point is the capital investment. So maybe the capital investment would be required for the development of product or services. Even you need a fund for the working capital gap requirement that could be matched through that funding. So if any startup is coming to us, boss, we are not sure what amount of fund should we raise, हमारे को पता ही नहीं है कितना fund raise करना, then we suggest them that maybe you can prepare a projected financial statement, prepare a business plan, how you would be going in the next 18 months or 24 months, what would be the entire plan, and convert that business plan into a numbers. And whatsoever the number is, let's say it is a negative number that is coming, that exactly is your fund requirement for to sustain for, let's say, 18 to 24 months. So first is the talent acquisition, the capital infrastructure you need, the working capital requirement in order to market capture, or I would say the market validation, or maybe the prototyping or the testing or the research that needs to be done at the startup end. So these are the areas where startups generally seek for the fund when they look for the funding opportunity.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amrit sir. Thanks for sharing the wonderful insights. And I'm sure कि जो startups हैं, वो इन सारी चीजों को ध्यान में रखेंगे जब भी यहाँ पे आएंगे, and कहीं भी अगर वो जाते हैं, I'm sure if they understand the gist of it कि startup को fund क्यों चाहिए and how can they secure it by going to an incubation center, I'm sure they'll be getting the funding. Thanks, sir. Thanks for coming, and thanks for sharing the insights.
Thank you.